Let's talk about behavior rating scales for a second. I'm going to start off with just a definition, a brief overview. You guys got I'm sure the concept, and this is, tools that require somebody to go through a series of questions on a child with some particular scaling structure, and then we're going to compare those answers to some norm population. So right off on the bat, we're playing an old school psychometric game. We're taking a behavioral normalcy statement, or more precise, kind of what do people typically say about children, and how does this individual statement about a target child compare to what people typically say about children. And I like to think that the norm groups are kind of focusing on this fictitious child in Kansas, or this fictitious group of typical children, as if behavior is in a nice bell curve presentation. Right? We're asking them to do this on past observation. Does anybody specify to the teacher exactly what the range of observation should be?
Like the time range?
Right. So he say, I want you just to think about this for the last month, or I want you to just think about this for the last 2 months. That's actually a more savvy use. I think most people drop these off and maybe put a note. Yeah, that's actually a pretty savvy use of them. Does anybody withhold? Well, you all will say yes because you have to, but you're supposed to withhold. You can't give a BASC to a teacher in the first 2 weeks or week of school for logical reasons. They haven't had enough data to sample. We haven't had a ton of discussion about the difference between 3 weeks of exposure, 7 weeks of exposure, 9 weeks of exposure, a year of exposure. Obviously, that has a pretty big deal. I mean, you're building up your memories of this child. And we do say, think about X unit of time, but it's pretty hard to distinguish a month or 2 months. We've actually got some really good data suggesting that teachers can't remember yesterday in most instances, much less what happened a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Some examples, and you guys have seen them all: BASC2, the CBCL, the Connors, the SSI.